Anyone? Ever? A few of you. Yeah, Joni has, Sophia, Alicia. Have you ever had a conversation and you just had a problem? You know what I'm talking about, Alicia? Yeah. You're just not connecting somehow. Things just aren't getting together. Well, that happened to me many, many years ago when I first started out as a temp. And I was temping, and as you know, in the temping business, it's very important to be able to get along with people. The thing was, some people I could get along with, other people I just couldn't, and I didn't know why. For instance, there was this guy, I'll call him, he liked everything just so. I'll call him Mr. Details. He had brown hair, looked kind of like me. I'll call Mr. Details. I went in one day, and he said, Tim, I want you to take these 5 pieces of paper, make 10 copies. The staple should be in the upper left-hand corner. When you go through the machine, make sure if there's any staples that are out of line, take them out and remove them and restaple the thing yourself, and then bring it back to me and put it in the tray on my desk marked copies. And I thought, I love this guy. He did everything I wanted. All of a sudden, Mr. Details and I got along great because he told me exactly what to do. I knew what to do. I went all the way through it, and everything was fine. And then later on, same company, met this guy called Mr. Direct. Mr. Direct said, Tim, I want you to make 10 copies. But Mr. Direct, where do the staples go? Should it be color? Are they double-sided? He wouldn't tell me. And I was like, what am I supposed to do now? And it's like, he said, Tim, just make 10 copies. Mr. Direct and I didn't get along at all. There's another guy there too, Mr. Doer. Mr. Doer is one of those guys who's just busy doing things all the time, you know, something like that, just all the time busy. So I asked Mr. Doer, anything you want to have? No, Tim, I got it, it's fine. Anything you need to have done, Mr. Doer? No, I'm okay. So I just keep annoying him all the time with stuff that he didn't need or didn't want. And then finally, there was Mr. Support. Mr. Support was a blonde-haired guy. And Mr. Support just really cared. He said, Tim, I want you to make 10 copies. When you make them and take them to the copy, be careful. It can be dangerous going out to the copy here. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, be careful. There's a flying staplers going off in your eye. I said, Mr. Support, I know how to make copies. I don't need that stuff. We didn't get along at all. Well, this is a problem because as a temp, as you guessed, I've got to get along with everybody, and I just wasn't getting along with Mr. Doer and Mr. Support, and I wasn't getting along at all with these people. Mr. Direct. So, back then, this was before the internet. Way back before the internet. Some of the younger people won't believe me, but there was a book. And there's this thing called books, and I had to find a book called Communication Styles. And I looked it up, went all the way through, and it had explained there were 4 different communication styles, and I was an analytical style. I thought, yes, that makes sense. I'm analytical. I like all the details. But more importantly, it told me how to deal with the other people. So then I understood better how to deal with other people as they came along. Mr. Details I had no problem with. But for Mr. Direct, I knew the most important thing was just to do things. Mr. Direct said, Tim, I need 10 copies. I said, yes, Mr. Direct, I'll do it. And whether I put staples in them or copies or binder clips, he didn't care as long as 10 copies were somewhere on his table in the next 10 to 15 to 20 minutes. And then Mr. Doer, the whole thing about Mr. Doer is to catch him when he had other things going on. And he actually needed to, it got so extended, he needed something. So, Tim, I got 5 meetings going on simultaneously. I've only got 1 minute to go to each meeting back and forth, so I need you to go out and make me these 10 copies. No problem. Make him, bring them back. Didn't care, as long as he got his 10 copies in whatever room he happened to be at that time. Business support was all about understanding. You just had to really appreciate the effort he's put in. So business support said, Tim, when you make the copies, be careful. Say, Mr. Support, thank you. I appreciate it so much. I'll be very careful on the copy machine. Thanks again for being concerned about me. And I got along great. Got along great with all of them. They kept me there, said I was a great employee. I got great recommendation from my temp agency. And later on, I went even to a permanent job, and it helped a lot understanding who those people were and how they all fit together. Now, the great news is today you do have the internet. So all you have to do is Google communication styles test. Communication styles test. Google that, you'll find a whole bunch of tests in communication styles, and you'll find out your communication style. More importantly, you'll find out how to deal with other people's communication styles. So when you get a Mr. Direct or Mr. Doer, Mr. Details, or Mr. Support, you'll know what to do and how to handle it. But once you do, you discover that you get along better with these people at work. People you had all these problems with, the communication issues, it's not as bad if you understand where they're coming from, how they're communicating to you, what they're communicating to you. And as you get that better bond between them, you can discover that you kind of iron out all the issues, a lot of the problems, a lot of the miscommunication things going on, because you better understand who they are, where they're coming from, and what they're really about. So learn about your communication styles yourself, and learn about the communication styles of your coworkers and just your friends and the people around you, and you find yourself have a much smoother, better, more enjoyable communicative life.